Welcome back to another of Hannah's modern-day parables. This one is called Prime Location, inspired by the parable of the tenant. For decades, Harrison Estates had been one of the country's most respected housing providers. Its owner, Jonathan Harrison, had purchased neglected land and transformed them into thriving communities. What was once abandoned became places where families could find safety, stability, and a place to call home. The estates were more than buildings and streets. It was a promise. Jonathan invested millions creating affordable homes where ordinary people could live with dignity, and he appointed estate managers to oversee the properties, collect rent, maintain the homes, and ensure everything was managed fairly. Everyone knew one thing: the estates belonged to Jonathan Harrison. The residents knew, the managers knew, but over time, some began to forget or simply stopped caring who the estates belonged to. One particular estate stood in the way of some powerful individuals, a powerful group of wealthy MPs, property developers, and investors. They looked at Harrison Estates and his concept differently. They didn't see families. They saw profit. They didn't see homes. They saw opportunity. They looked at the location, the surrounding area, and the potential value of the land. This is a prime location, they said. If they could gain control of the estate, they could replace affordable homes with luxury apartments, exclusive developments, and commercial properties worth millions. But there was one problem. The estate wasn't theirs. Unable to legally purchase the land, they decided to take another route. They hired local gangs to intimidate anyone representing Jonathan Harrison. So with their plan in motion, the intimidation and fight for control began. Monday morning started the same as always, with an estate manager arriving to inspect the properties on Jonathan's behalf and collect outstanding rent. Before he could even enter the estate, he was confronted, threatened, and beaten. He was forced to leave without gaining access to the estate. When Jonathan heard what happened, he was saddened. Yet he remained patient and optimistic that this was a one-off incident. So he sent another representative. She arrived hoping to investigate and resolve the situation peacefully. But instead, she was also attacked and left injured. So Jonathan sent another, worried that these were intentional attacks and not random as he had assumed. But this manager was humiliated and driven away too. Again and again, Jonathan's representatives went in his name. Again and again, they were rejected. Yet Jonathan showed patience. Then he said, "Surely they will respect my son." So Jonathan sent his only son, Daniel. Daniel arrived not with anger, but with compassion. As Daniel made his way through the estate, a black SUV pulled up near the entrance. Several MPs and property developers stepped out, watching him from a distance. One of them scoffed. "So, now he sends his son." Another folded his arms. "He really thinks that's going to change anything." A third looked across the estate before saying, "This land is worth millions. Once Harrison's gone, we can finally build what we've planned." "But his son will never agree to it," another replied. "Exactly," came the response. "So he can't be allowed to stand in our way." One of the developers gestured towards of affordable homes. "Look at this place. Harrison keeps talking about affordable housing, community, and giving ordinary people a chance. Oh, if he gets his way, he'll fill this estate with people on low incomes, key workers, struggling families, all kinds of people." Another laughed before saying, "And what will that do to property prices around here? They'll plummet. We're not having that, are we?" The group exchanged knowing smiles. This estate is far too valuable to be wasted on people like that. It belongs in the hands of people who understand its real value. One of the MPs quietly nodded towards Daniel. "Call the lads." Within minutes, the hired gang appeared from nearby streets. "There he is," one of the MPs said quietly, pointing towards Daniel. "Make sure he never comes back." The gang surrounded Daniel. Residents watched in horror as he was punched, kicked and beaten mercilessly. His cries echoed through the estate before he collapsed onto the pavement. By the time the ambulance arrived, Daniel was barely alive. He was rushed to hospital and placed on life support. News of the attack spread across the country. This time, the violence could not be hidden. Residents who had witnessed everything came forward. Doorbell cameras and CCTV footage revealed exactly what had happened. Phone records uncovered conversations between the gang leaders, the developers, and the MPs. The police launched a major investigation. One by one, the gang members were arrested. Then the developers. Then the politicians who had orchestrated and financed the entire conspiracy. They were charged with conspiracy, corruption, grievous bodily harm, and attempted murder. Justice had finally caught up with them. When the criminal proceedings were over, Jonathan Harrison reclaimed full control of his estate. Every corrupt management agreement was terminated, and trustworthy people were appointed to oversee the housing on his behalf. But Jonathan wasn't finished. Rather than selling the land to wealthy investors or turning it into luxury developments, he expanded the estate with hundreds of new affordable homes. Then invitations were sent to those who had spent years waiting for somewhere to live. Families trapped in temporary accommodation, single parents, veterans, young couples struggling to buy their first home, key workers, elderly residents forced out by rising rents, people whom society had overlooked. They were welcomed into beautiful new homes at rents they could genuinely afford. The estate flourished once again, not because it belonged to the powerful, but because it had been entrusted to people who respected its owner and appreciated what he had provided. The moral of the story: what God entrusts to us is never truly ours to own. Our lives, our gifts, our influence, our resources, our opportunities, they are all entrusted to us for a purpose. The danger begins when we forget the difference between stewardship and ownership. A steward asks, "How can I honor the one who entrusted this to me?" An owner asks, "How can I use this for myself?" So Hannah's reflection is this. So the question Jesus leaves with each of us is this: when the owner comes, will he find us living as faithful stewards of his kingdom? Or as people trying to claim ownership of what has always belonged to him? In Matthew chapter 21 verses 42 it reads, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes." In Jesus' original parable, it was a vineyard. In this modern-day parable, it was a prime piece of real estate. But the message remains unchanged. The vineyard owner planted, prepared, and entrusted his vineyard to tenants. Jonathan Harrison built, invested, and entrusted his estate to managers. Both owners expected faithfulness. Both expected responsibility. Both expected those entrusted with what belonged to them to remember. It was never theirs. The tenants looked at the vineyard and saw something they could possess. The developers looked at the estate and saw something they could profit from. The servants came representing the owner. The estate managers came representing Jonathan. But those whose hearts had been consumed by greed rejected every reminder that they were accountable. Then came the beloved son. The vineyard owner sent his son. Jonathan sent Daniel. Both came with the authority of the Father. Both came peacefully. Both should have been welcomed. Instead, both were rejected. The tenants wanted the inheritance without honoring the heir. The developers wanted the estate without respecting the owner. And humanity did the same with Jesus. The Son of God came into the world. He came to save. He came to restore. He came to bring us back to the Father. Yet he was rejected and crucified. But what humanity rejected, God exalted. The rejected Son became the cornerstone. The stone thrown away became the foundation. The one they refused became the one through whom salvation came. This parable is both a warning and an invitation. A warning not to build our own kingdoms with what belongs to God. An invitation to surrender our lives to Christ, the true heir. and faithfully steward all that He has placed in our hands. Because one day, the owner will return. And the question will not be, how much did you own? It will be, how faithfully did you steward what I entrusted to you? Hannah asks, have I forgotten that everything I have is entrusted to me by God? Am I building God's kingdom or my own? Have I welcomed Jesus as the rightful heir of my life? What has God placed in my hands that He is asking me to steward differently? From Jesus' original parable, Matthew chapter 21 verses 33 to 46. Closing prayer. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make His face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His face toward you and give you peace. From the book of Numbers chapter 6 verses 24 to 26. Shalom. This was a Hannah's modern day parable titled Prime Location, inspired by Jesus' parable of the tenant. Brought to you by Broken Glass Productions. Created and written by Hannah.